Okay. So so last week we talked about arrays. We talked about array methods. We looked at push. We looked at on shift. We looked at shift. All this thing. So they will actually be looking at conditional statements. Statements. So, um, what is a condition? Why do we use conditional statements? So, does anybody want to help us with that? So, say for instance, want to grade, and then you want to automate your grading based on a person's score. Let's say, for instance, in university we have this 70 or 80s A, and 60s B, that kind of stuff. So you want to get a person's score without having to think about it. You just want a program that will actually do that. So like if the person has 70 and above, let the person have a grade of A. If the person has 60, let the person have a grade of B, that kind 60 and above. So that's those type of grades. So if, let's say you want to grade people that way, you actually need to use a conditional statement to do that. So how do conditional statements work? Um, so in JavaScript, there are different there are ways to actually do conditional statements. You can either use an if statement, can use an if statement where you want to check if a particular condition is true. You can use if else, if and else. So the if statement checks if it is true. The else is a kind of fallback for when it is false. So let's just play around with this now. So we have, give you guys, let me zoom. You can see my screen, right? Okay. Okay, so let me not separate these guys. Come back. So let's say we are doing conditionals. Can't spell for some reason. Okay, so you can use an if statement. So let's start. What happens here? We say let age okay, let age. Let's just say this chart is 4 years old. Okay. So if person is greater than 18, okay. So what do we think? Will this condition pass?
No, sir.
Okay. So why will it not pass? So this person is underage. This person is 4 years old. Yeah. So this is actually so this if block, an if block basically checks if a condition is true. If the condition is if the condition is false, this will not the if block. So let's see. Let me just do this. Okay. Permit me to pull this over and expect. Okay, so the last thing we have here arrays. So it's actually not here. It doesn't print out because that condition is false. So for us to have a fallback, yeah, for us to have a fallback, so this is what will happen. You need an else statement. So here now I'll just do a console. These guys are asleep today. Console.log. So if this is not true, use an else statement. Use an else statement. So this else statement is a fallback. It checks for the false. So if we check our console now, this is line 209. Check here. So you see, it says you could have an ice cream. So you could have an ice cream. Reason being that the child is 4 years. So if I now change this to, let's say, is a 40-year-old man, so we now have, you can have a. So I believe we get that part, right? So the next thing to talk about is you can have an else if. So let's so understand how let me see something. Okay, this else if should actually go with the condition. Yes, actually have a condition. So if you're using an else, and so if statement for if it's true, else if it still checks for a true here. So if person age is so this is greater than let's let's do let's do 30 greater. Okay, so let me still use 80. If person age is greater than less than or equals to 18, so else if person age is my conditional statement. Okay, let me just check where you get the info. I don't know what is happening. I can't. Okay. So let's see. Let's see our statement. So this first condition is checking if the person is greater than 18 years. You can have it here. If person age is less than or equals to 18. Okay. Okay. So that's the conversation. Okay. 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 So let's go. Let's look at that. So if the person's age is less than 18, and the else not, if the so the thing about condition is this checks it checks this one. This is greater. Okay. This goes. Let's say this person is 10 years old. Less than so less than I mean less than 10, less than 12 years. Then I have this else. Okay, so I think this will work. I think this will work. So yeah, this will work. So the first you need to understand how the whole conditional thing works. So this value comes here. It compares with this one first. Now says person age. Is it greater than 18? So this gives a false. So it comes to this next line. Is the person age less than 12 and have an ice cream? Because it's else. So that means if this person is in between 18, that's so if this person is like, let's say 15 years, yeah. So let's see. 15 years you could have water instead. Reason being that this condition now, this is 15 is not less than 12. 15 is not greater than 18. So the fallback now is to the else statement, where now says you could have water instead. Do we understand how this works? We get the whole main picture. So let's look at all right. So we also have something called a switch statement. We also have a switch. So a switch is also used for conditionals. It's used for conditional statement. So talk about how that works. Let's see. Okay. So for switch, okay, you need to specify an expression here, and then now use something called case. Let's say the case is let's case is less than okay. Trying to get something. So let's say, for instance, so let's look at this. Say we have okay, so say number present is let's now insert. The number present is 0. Let me also define so there are so need to break it. So so okay, so that's so when you're using switch, it actually takes a condition here. So if this condition is true, it checks this these numbers here. So let's see. Let me just create some random stuff. Let's say 10. Equals I'll still use the same message. So do we understand how this message, why I'm doing this message this way? Have a break here. I declared message here as an empty, or and I made it an empty string, and I'm replacing these values here. So what do we think? What do we think come out? Which case will come out? So 20, let's see. Oh, I did not console. So, so yeah, there are 20 people. There are 20 in class today. That's what it's saying here. So because 20 is the actual condition that is passed. So let's say 20 divided by, what do we think will come out here? Why will it be default? Yeah, someone you can raise your hand and share if you are. Why do you think it will be default? None meets the condition. So 20 is. So what if none of them meets the condition? Okay. So let's say I have this. What would be the answer? Which one will be printed out? Are you guessing or you're sure? I see shows this straight to the point. Okay. Yes. You're actually right. You're right because yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah. Yes, the message is different. So let's put this in a um, okay. So okay, let's do it that way. And then defaults. This is my English. Well, we get the check. Let me just do this. Yeah. Yeah, I love it. Ask your question.
Okay, good morning. Good morning,
Yeah.
guys. Okay, my question is the cases, can they take comparison operators?
And that was what I was actually trying out. I was checking if that could work. And if possible. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that will work. Let's think of a condition.
Could be 0 is greater than or equal to 2 or 5 or 4, whichever one.
So, so let's use number present. Three. So, so if number present, so let's greater than conditional distance. Here is just not here. So let me just do almost the same thing here. So person is greater than 80, less than 12. Can't think of a condition. Okay, so that means I have to change this my. Let's just try it. If it breaks it or not. There are many people in class. Just goes to this number. Yeah, so probably that doesn't work. There could be a way based on this condition. So I think it just takes numbers. Yeah, so I'll need to find out about that. That is feasible. But most times it just takes a single number that instead of making things complex. Okay, so back to what we were talking about. We did not even test what we wanted to test before we did conditionals. Okay, so let me just return it to what we are doing. I'll confirm that. So number present divided by 5. So if it is 0, is if it is 4, if it is n. So let's confirm this. So there are 4 people in class because I think the test basically happens either before you pass it into this condition or here. So this is what, so it takes this, gets the answer, and then checks the cases based on that. Yeah. So that's why we now have that there are 4 people in class today. So we understand this part. Let's know that it's checking if, checking if the condition actually works. So if we can actually use conditional statements inside it. So I'll just check if that is possible, and then I'll get back. I'll talk about it on Slack. Okay. So let's pass the number present. Why was it not working here? So let's see number present. Let's just so if number present is greater than 18, number present is less than. Okay. Okay, so let's look at it. So we have 20 present, and then we are testing if the number is greater than 18. Mind is my statement. So we have greater, let me just change over 18 plus yes, so yeah, 16 people in class. So let's see. So this happens. Okay, so let me change this to 16. That's fault is just great. So I don't know what we are missing out here, but with the conditions I put here, so I'm checking if the number present is equals to 16. This is 16. So this should actually, this is logically, this is what should come out. But it's not coming out. Keep getting the same. There are many things. So, all right, this thing. Uh, so we'll just brainstorm around it and check if it is feasible because from what I'm seeing there, what I'm seeing here, we still keep getting our default message. Just think about it. So let's just teach this one for now. And then go is what we so what we know is what you can take here is what you can take here is that this takes a number, whether it does that condition here it takes the output of that number and tests it for each case here. So if the case matches, it prints out whatever message needs to be printed. That's what happens with switch statements. So it just refers to that. Okay, so we've talked about if, talked about switch. Yes. So those are ways of using conditional statements. The next thing that we'll look at is so let's talk about dates before we go into switch statement into loops. So how do we use dates? How can you get the dates? How can you get today's dates? So to get today's dates, I can just say use a constant date. So for this, you need to use a new date. So this date is method. So if I console, um, let's see what this gives us. Today is what? Today is Tuesday, June 7th, 2022. It also gives you the timestamp. Time is 9. Yeah, 2 minutes to 10 GMT West African Standard. This is how to get the dates today. So that's how you get the dates today. So there are actually different ways of, and there are different ways of creating a particular date. So let's just say time. So I want to get the dates of time ago. So I'll just do a const dates. So I am thinking of, let's say, okay, let's do first October 1960. So I'm going to pass in, I can pass in the year. So the year is what? 1960. I can pass in the months. The month October is, nobody will believe what I did just now. So you can guess. So October is the 10th month. And then the day, we're saying first of October. So let me pull this. What do we think this will give us? What do you think this will give us? Anybody? So we're passing in. We're passing it. We want to create a date. So this date is actually taking in a year, a month, and a day. You can actually go on if you check what is showing on my screen now. So this is a date constructor. If you check now, you can pass in the months, the day, the hours, the minutes, and all of that. So when I console this out, I'm getting this particular date. Oh, sorry, I don't miss answer. So October is 9th actually. So this is 9th. Because when you're using dates for calendars, yeah, it starts from 0 to 11. So it looks at it like an array.
Array big.
Or months rather.
Array, what does that mean?
Yeah.
The first, if a first thing on an array, what is that? What is it? Like your index number is 0. Like if that's the first item, if you now want to call it, it's 0 you use to call it. That's what we're talking about. Sure.
Okay. Ah. Okay. Okay. So sorry about that. So there's something to learn here. So I'm passing in the year, I'm passing in the month. Now, when you're using months, it does this 0 to 11. Sorry. These are normal because we can't have 0. Can't have 0 days. So for months, it actually looks at it like an array starting from 0 down to this. So because of because of what we passed here, we're able to print out that October 1st, 1960, and it's on a Saturday, and then we get every other thing. So because we do not specify the time, so that's why we have a flat that we have. This is more like, if I say 12 a.m. 000. Yeah, so this is like the beginning of that day when everything is still normal. Okay. Okay. I don't know why my network is acting. Sorry about that. All right, so let's continue. So aside passing, so you can pass in a whole lot of things. Yeah, but know that there's actually a sequence. There's a sequence for passing this. So year, month, day. So after day, you now have hours, now have minutes, now have seconds, now have milliseconds. That's the sequence for passing this here. So because I just stopped here, that's why it's this way. Okay, so let's so there's something called a date string. So let me say string. Still going to use the new dates. Now, instead of passing this, I want to get something. Okay, so we have something like this. This is a date string. Let me just. Okay, so if you notice, it's inside quotes. It's inside string quotes. So if I console.log this, so you see, it gives us Monday, 13th October, 2014. And then it also gives us the time because here we specified the time. The time is here, the year is here, the day is here, and the month. So these are ways of creating. So there are ways of converting it to this. Curious people. So oftentimes it's actually the new it's usually the new method that you use. Create this, yeah. So it's mostly the new method that you use. So yeah, it's using the timestamp here. It's actually using the time here. So if you just do the new date, it uses the time on your device. All right. So dates also have their own methods. You can use a to string, date string. Let's do, so this, let's just understand this section, this how to create these dates. Do you understand this? Yeah, Tolu, what's your question?
Sorry, sir. What happens when you change the date of your own system? Would the date stuff change to what your system is, or it will be the correct one?
Let me see. Attempt that. Yes, the date has to be in capital. So just attempting to change this. Give me a moment. So just a moment. Let's say I'm setting it to 9 a.m. 8 6. So done that. Then we have changed it on my device, showing 9/11 here. Let's look at this. Yeah, so it uses the date on your device. You get that? I actually changed the dates. I actually changed the dates and the time on my device. Yeah. So printing this out, getting today's date is printing what is on my device. So not getting the actual date. It uses your device to give out that. And yes, this has to be a capital D. Because if you use small d, you start thinking you're going on a date. Okay. All right, so let's go back to what we had. Okay, so I want to print, my time will not be correct now. I don't have strength to go back there. So let's say I want to do, there are some methods you can use with it's something like a string. So remember that my constant here, so let me come back. Let me do it inside here now. I'm doing a dot to string. So all these things here, as I added a dot, it brought all of this out. So if I do a dot to string, I'm going to be checking line 235. Let's see. And it doesn't make any difference. It's still the same. I think that's normal beats. So let me confirm something. Turn up. Okay, this is converting to GMT. This should convert this to GMT. Okay. Okay, yeah. So this is what happens now that I'm noticing it. So before it was showing W80, but now it's showing GMT. Because I did a date today. So if I remove this, save. These things. This should be short. 6. Sorry. This GMT is same thing. I'm trying to, sorry. My food for thought. Yeah, yeah. I thought it was GMT. I actually thought it was changing to GMT. So, for some reasons, that's not happening. Um, what am I missing here? And am I supposed to convert it first? So, just give me a moment. Let me confirm something. So, dates to be. Let me remove all this. There's something I'm not. 235 240. Connected this out. Why is this still showing? Okay, so let me just. Okay, so I've actually been suffering myself. Like, so 236 to 238. Let's check it out. So this is 236 is the normal. 236 is the normal date with the old GMT and West African Standard Time. And this other one, a UTC stream, is actually a shorter version of this. It takes off this part, just gives you this. Then the ISO string. Yeah. So this other one removes the this hour behind the day, if that's what you mean. Then this other one just gives us the year, and it just changes it to numbers instead of using the short version of months. That's what happens here. That's what it does. I don't know why this one was not. It's refreshing and so there's a whole lot to look at this, but I want to talk about follow. I want to talk about follow before, before this class actually. How that works. So let's see. So this is talked about ISO. So let me just explain what each of these does before. So did I do it to date string? Just add one more. Date string. Okay, so to string is just the normal plain view. To UTC string converts a date to a standard display date. That's a standard date display. So if we check, so this is more date string. So it's just all these methods, they're actually just to make the dates readable. This is the to date string. This is the what was that? The string as the normal one, to date string, then to UTC string. So the more readable format, that's removing this one. Then this other one that wants to confuse, it changes this to an ISO standard format. Let me check that. Yeah, so let's just move on. So there's a whole lot that I can do with the dates. I just wanted to chip this in so that you can actually look up more about dates, how to use them, and so on. So the next thing I want to look at, you can actually get. So let's say we want to get the year. Let me just talk about this view things. So this now becomes it's today. It's actually a method. So if I console.log, 240. It gives us 2 instances. So if I need to get the months, this will get this. It should be. Choose number 5. So remember that this is +1 in natural sense, but when you're getting it with JavaScript, it does a minus, and it goes back. So once you get the dates today, just to the day is so funny thing about the day is that the day is normal. It goes from 1 to either 31st. But things like you see hour, you see minutes, you see seconds. So those ones they start from 0. So if it's 60 minutes, so 0 to 60 is 0 to 59. Remember that I changed the date of my time. I changed the dates. Yes, I changed the date of my device, so that's why it's giving that. So it can be misleading. Ensure that the date on your PC is correct, or if not, you'll be giving wrong results. Okay, so we've actually talked about that. We even talk about math method. Let's just go to for loops. So I actually want to show us. So this is loops. This is loops. So when do we use loops? So loops can be handy when you want to run the same code over and over again. Say for instance, you're creating that your bootstrap site, and then you want, let's say it's an e-commerce site, then you now have to display different images, different goods from your store. And then you're busy doing div or MDDs, or you're busy repeating div, putting images and all of that. Then there are better ways of doing that. You can use a for loop to actually display things that you have inside. Yeah. Let's say your products. So let's see. What do I want? So how do for loops work? So you have to start with the for keyword. And then you actually need to state how you want to initialize this. So you're saying you're using a let. We're not using a const here. We're using a let because this is actually going to be changing. So we are saying let I, can be anything, it can be Z, it can be whatever. Let I be equals to 0. So we are starting from 0. This is our starting point. Now we are checking this loop should run until we get to the number that is closest to 5, but not equals to 5. Then you're now incrementing. You're incrementing this. You're saying start from 0. When you run the first time, increase by 1. So this 0 changes. When it runs the first time, 0, it completes 0. So when it comes back here, it becomes 1. Then the cycle goes again. When it comes here, it becomes 2. until this condition is reached. So that's why if we check now, let me just bring this down. So I'm supposed to be so left. Okay, so yeah, it's an iteration. It's an iteration. So when you check now, says the number is 0. So what this person actually had in mind, what the person had in mind was to put this, to display this on the screen. So let's say, for instance, so let's say, for instance, we now have a okay, so we have this sheet. So I come here now, instead of console, I just say documents query selector. Now inside here now I pass let's see. So see what happens. So what really happened here was it's getting this each time this goes, this checks this commit, this checks this. It now says, okay, this is 0. You're starting with 0. So the number is 0 here. Since the number is 0 here, print out this thing. When you print it out, you break whatever is coming goes to the next line. So it does the first iteration, it prints out the number is 0, comes out, logs, puts it on the screen, goes back again. This number changes to 1, displays the number, it stores the number inside text, puts it on the screen, goes again. It just does that sort of this. So that's more like what it does, and then it just brings all of this out. So if you see, we said the condition we said here, so I is less than 5. So by going by whole number, 4 is just the next in line. And since this guy started from 0, so supposing if I start from 1 here, I have this goes 1, 2, 3, 4. So it doesn't give us 5. It starts from 1. Loops, outputs, loops, outputs, loops, outputs. That's what happens here. We get this picture. We understand this. Okay. So that's how for loop. Say for instance now inside this my show loop, let's say I want to style it small, Let's say I add my style of CSS. Then I do my aesthetics. Okay, interesting question. Just give you. Let's see what that gives us. So it just prints out the last one. It prints out just the last one. Reason being that you're assigning you're assigning this to text. So it loops until it gets to the final one. It now says, okay, so this is the final one. I can now output this. When you're doing plus equals, the value is changing for each of them. So that you get that. So I was trying to style out this my margin 0. 0. Right. All right. So I need show loop. I need a display of flex. So let me do a default listing first. So let me just create. So yeah, that's what I said. Copilot is asleep today. Okay, so I have 4 boxes. I want to style out these boxes properly. I want to read my thoughts. Pilot that reads people's thoughts. So I want a width of 24 cents. Those each justify content space between. So let's see. That's true. So this guy is actually overriding this. JavaScript has a stronger grip. Yeah, I know. Yeah, but I'm not seeing this. That I'm pulling it back to back. Okay, so this is what we have. I need the height. CSS. And, here. Okay, then for this box, I need. So, I should probably just give this margin pixels so that I can actually expand my screen. Okay, so this is what we have. This is what we have. Now I am repeating code. I'm repeating this code, and I know what to repeat it. So I'm just going to get this. Yes, I'm removing this. Then the string. This. Let me just put this first. I need this text. Let me just remove everything at once. So I have this, and then I want to say this is for. Let's see. We get what happens here. Does anybody understand what I did? So I have a variable, it's a string actually. So I'm saying create this, loop over so number of boxes. These are 4 boxes. So if I increase this to probably 10, so we have 1, 2. So the problem is that this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's actually not included. It's because I started from this. This is not included. That's 10 is not inclusive. It goes from 1 and then stops at 10. So if I need that one, I can actually just do this. I could do this is called 0 up to 9, or I can do this. I start from 1 and then ensure that 10 is inclusive. So this is this. I think I need a flex wrap. Is anybody confused? If you're confused, please just. Does everybody understand what I am doing here? Why this gap is as a result of that justified space between. Okay, so we've talked about for loop, and we've used it to actually do something here. So we also have for in. Have a for in. So let's say, for instance, we have something of this sense. Then we are like for let me just call it property in person. Okay. So do we get this? Do we get what is happening here? So it's printing out. If you do a form, so this is an object person, and then you're saying that you should look over the properties in person and then console log these properties. So this now gives you for the property for it goes over the first one. Okay, first name, that's the property, that's the property for the E. So it also logs that one. This other one is it goes when it finishes with this one, it now goes, it's more like looping, it goes, prints this one, comes to this next one, prints this one. That's L name, and then it comes over here, prints this one. So do you understand how this one works? Yeah, and do we understand how this works? So we also have a for each. This one now. Yes, this one is for loops. Is looping over this properties of this object. So that's why we are saying properties. This is not like you can change this, this can be A in person. But it needs to reference what you're looking for. So person. So what are the properties in person? So it comes here. So the first one is first name. So it also logs out. That's why if you check here now, you see F name. So when it does that, it goes again. It comes here. Second one is what L name. Also logs out. Third one is what age. Logs out. That's what happens here. That's what happens. Yes, it's the in. The in that helps us to know this and this have to match whatever you're doing. Okay, so Let me create an array. Let me do a const students equals name and const. I'm going to do that. Going to do convert into arrays. Your name is long. Okay. Okay, so we have this. We have this. Okay, so we have students. We want to do over students. So I will do a students. So there's something called for each. Students dot for each. Now for each actually takes a function. Now that function takes a single student and let's console log that student console. That is command entry. Console log student. All right, so let's check. This is line 270. And then we have Nat, Lovett, Merit, Mubarak. Now, with the change of things, actually, this function starts with ES6 just to do this instead of having to write the function keyword. So your for each has to open here for each, then you do this. So for each, this bracket, closing bracket, this inner bracket. So students, it has to start with the array, then you do a dot for each, which is a method. Then you pass in a single entity. So this takes a single entity and outputs it. Now, supposing we had an array of objects, what will happen? What will happen here? I don't know if someone understand an array of objects? Let's say, for instance, now we had something like let's say why would even it's even best. Why would you want to even try that? Why would you want to add a name? It's a what do they call this kind of function? Name. The name. It's not yeah, it's an anonymous function. Yeah, yeah. It's an anonymous function. So it doesn't actually need a name. Yes, it's an anonymous function. Serious homework. Yo. So so we have something of this sort. Let me remove this first one. I probably want to duplicate this. and it is okay. So what do we think? What will we even be getting? So we are getting each person's listing. And then I want to print out the name, the person's name. What would it be? That I want to print out each student's name here. This is an array of object. What's meeting? How do we do this? Oh, okay. Yeah, I think we had Nats. Uh, okay, so let's check this out. Yeah. So you use a dot notation to actually do that. Alternatively, you can just do long walk to freedom. You can do the same thing with that. So the same way we use the for loop, you can also do that same thing for that is so that is more like if I need this, then I'll just do my X and then just have copy it. So easy to type that out. Okay, so I need each student's name. So I'm going to please don't get confused. I know I'm actually doing right and things here. So I have this text and my template string is missing. And this is box. The box. This is box. Then this is student the ah, yeah, okay, student what is coming to my head is not I'm not getting it. This is so let me just paste this for now. Let's see. Okay, so this works actually. So I wanted to do something here. I want to get the index. I want to get the index. Okay. This is false. This is false. Yeah, I'm just thinking about it. So this, what's this is objects. Trying to get this. So alternative, yeah. Okay, let me check something here. Okay. Hmm. And the index of students. Yes, I want the index and this. Okay. Let's go. Okay. That's why is that? So how do we get the index of this? So let me see. Console. Because I validated my. Okay, so ah, this is yeah. So stuff is the index. This index is actually not coming through. So it's a moment. Suppose this index is not this index. Ah, God of heaven. Can you imagine? I was actually in this all the while. So this is box. This yeah. This is box. This and yeah, this is box. This is box. So let me give a space in between both of them. Yeah, so this is box one and apostrophe. Oh, but then why did I add that one? Does anybody know why? Does anybody know why I added that one? No, 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 no. This one here. Does anybody knows why I added that one? Yeah, so that it doesn't start from zero. Right. Yes, that's okay, okay, okay. So what next? What next? Okay. While loop. So let's look at while. We also have while loops. While so let's end with let not come and push it. Let's come and add magic button. While and less than this is greater than prime. So yeah, so this thing is switch is a variation of if else actually. So you using if else inside switch again. Get that. So what do we think will happen here? do you think? What will this output, or how will it output? Where will it start from? So it will increase each. Print 1 to 10. Yeah, from 10 to 19. So let's see. The browser don't crash. I do. It's, okay, so why is our condition acting like that? Okay, so while people are not serious, some people that help matter simple are here. Okay, so let's check our condition now. Let's check our condition. Actually, this actually this be acting way while this is less than. Okay. Kind of similar. Can you guys hear me? Okay, so sales gone. So please, there. The truth is, yeah, they that while loop can actually break your browser. Oh, I get what happened now. I get what happened now. And I'm supposed to increase it. I'm supposed to increase it. Yeah, I'm supposed to increase it. Well, like this is one rare loop that people actually use. So it's easy while this is greater than 10, then you do an M. So this is what is actually supposed to be. It's good that I actually did it because somebody then tried at home. Then I start wondering what happened. I was learning how to do. Yes, yes, yes. Now I'm fighting now. Why? So, so that's how this loop actually checks this condition here, and it needs to implement it this end basically. So while this happens, and it can change, then there is a stop. This is actually where it should stop. So it's increasing up to this point. Then it stops at 9. It outputs all of this. So that's what happens with while loops. Okay. So you can also do same for arrays. You can also use while loop when you're working with arrays. So let's do this. My control listing does not work well. I'm supposed to put this outside. Okay. So say let's I equals 0, and say while I pass, and we pass in this, then we pass it. And we say console. Okay, so what will happen here now? Okay, so it also outputs the same stuff. That's what happens here. Okay, so does anybody have a question, or yeah, we'll call it a day? I think the next thing that we'll look at is we've actually started of done manipulation. So maybe we'll just do one, then we'll talk about APIs. This will just be APIs only. Does anybody have a question? So I can just read up random math methods. What again? Yeah, so you can read up those ones. And there are a lot of other things to read. So I think the absence of question, yeah, let's just so still for looping. Still for looping. If you want to do, try like here now. Yes, that's true actually. So JavaScript just breaks in a whole lot of just in case. Just in case you want variety, that can happen. So I think let's just end the class uh, probably by, let's see, 12:30, 1 o'clock. Let's just meet. All right, guys, let's meet on Slack. Have a nice day. Thanks. Thanks a lot. Yeah, let's by 12:30 or 1, let's just meet so that we'll submit our submissions and presentation. Yes. I think that's fine. Okay. It's fine. Simple, so you're not. Okay. All right. Take care, guys.